Good evening, everyone. What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome to night four.
Night four, man.
Night four
Night
of
four.
the Black Man Made Well, our first of a kind of this. We've been going strong all week. I am your host, Martina Sellers, aka also known as your mental health hygienist. Why do I call myself your mental health hygienist? Because you need to make sure you wash your mind every single day of the week. And we're coming to you live and in Southern California, where the sun is always shining. And as my sister in Atlanta would say, I don't do this alone. I'm stealing words from your wife, John Henry. I'm so glad I don't do this alone, but I got my co-host with me, none other than John Henry Scott.
My man, what's going on? Good evening, everybody. Good evening, brothers, sisters, everybody joining, and the ones that's supporting us and the one that's curious about us.
That's right.
It's been a great week, Marty.
Man, it has
absolutely
been a phenomenal
incredible week.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes. This has been a great week, and we have this whole concept of Black Man Made Well is so important. When we were planning this, we just started planning this a couple months ago, and it's been phenomenal. And when we planned it, did you think that it would have the impact, or even more so, due to us, what it has been doing?
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Right. I think we planned from the impact or from the angle of wanting to make sure that we can create this experience for Black men who will be viewing, who would come to our in-person event, the event that we had earlier today. But we perhaps didn't think about how the content, the conversations, the experience would impact us.
Yes.
Because the reality is we Black men as well.
That's right.
It is. And so it has been absolutely amazing.
It is. And I'm so glad that this Paul, what's going on? Pastor JT, Orlando, we see you out there, y'all. Listen, invite other people in the room.
Absolutely.
When we planned this, we wanted to make sure to keep this created by Black men.
That's right.
For Black men.
That's correct.
With an all Black male panel discussing what we go through as Black men. Because, and I love this week, we've shown the whole array of Black men.
Yeah. That's one of the things you and I were talking about, right? It's just the different flavors of Black men.
That's right.
And it has just been incredible, high caliber Black men as well. And so to be able to put something like that out to the world, who are experts in their field, who are intelligent and articulate and real and authentically who they are, it has been life-changing. It's been amazing, man.
It has.
Amazing.
It has.
Amazing.
It has. So what we want to do is talk about Chucky. Man, you've been on here all this week, man. I appreciate you. Much love, my brother. We have been part of the three goals and three factors that we talk about, and I think we've been trying to delicately walk through that. But I'm very proud of what we tell us what the three have been that we
wanted to make sure that we were able to curate and create an experience, an environment, a space by which we can do three things. Number one was empower Black men.
Yes.
Number two was educate Black men.
Yes.
And then number three was equip Black men. And I don't know, those of you all who are joining now and those of you all that are joining in later and watch the rebroadcast, what our hope is that we've been successful at that.
That's right.
From Monday when we were talking about stigmas, to Tuesday yelling, to yoga, to Wednesday last night talking about self-care and mental health.
Yes.
And then we just want to continue on that journey. It's been incredible.
So can we share with y'all in this journey of this week what John Henry and I got to experience this afternoon with some young people, because we know we have to talk to this whole concept, the Black Man Made Well, but it's also important that we talk to the young man made well. John Henry, this is what you've been excited about.
Yeah, man.
And I man, you was barely containing yourself with that. Talk to us about what happened this afternoon.
Yeah, this afternoon we were not able to stream and broadcast this, but we were given the opportunity to go and serve 29 system involved young men.
That's right.
It was primarily Black and brown young men.
That's right.
And I'm telling you, to be able to hear their stories, to share our stories, but then to sit down and communicate that we see you, we hear you. The chapter that you are in right now does not have to be the entire book of your life story.
That's right.
To be able to equip them with tools, to empower them, and to educate them, and then also having the incredible honor and opportunity to be a picture.
That's right.
Of what could happen if you don't allow the season that you're in right now to become prolonged over 10, 15, 20 years. It has been, it was just, it changed my life.
Yeah.
It changed my life. It was incredible. Yes. Absolutely incredible today.
Because too often when we're down that road, when you're growing up in families with fathers not present.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things that in creating even tonight, family and fatherhood, we've heard it this week talking about the power of presence.
Yes.
The power of presence, and what the power of a father being actively present in the life of their children, and how that can be a life-changing trajectory
100%.
That can help them do, I'm going to use your term, a hard pivot from the wrong direction in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And how we don't have to allow our past failures to determine and forecast our future success. I'm going to say it that way because I don't want to put it in a negative context.
Absolutely. And you know what was so fascinating is that I was talking to a group of young people today, this afternoon, and for many of them, their fathers were there physically.
Yes.
But being present is more than just being physically present. And I'm sure we'll talk about that with the panel tonight, man. It was just incredible. Incredible.
So we got to give a shout out to our sponsors, major sponsors of this whole week-long event. So I'll let you do the honors of the first one that you always like giving.
Yeah, the first one, of course, is none other than Marcel Consulting and Mental Health Services.
Right.
Yeah, we are one of the sponsors.
We're one of the sponsors,
and we're just very excited and honored to be able to partner with. Who else are we partnering with?
We're also partnering. We're so glad to have Riverside University Health Systems, aka also Behavioral Health Services, who were one of the major sponsors. Because listen, we cannot do something like this without major sponsorship. It takes money to make a difference. We can no longer do it on chicken dinners, catfish dinners, chitterling dinners, or anything else like that. We got to get past that. We got to get past the 50-50 lottos and 50-50 bingo shares and all that. We need real dollars to do real work. Now, since this is all men, we don't mind paying money to go to the Shake Shake. We don't mind paying money to go to the other stuff, but we mind paying money to get our mental health in line. And that's the stinking thinking that we have to stop. Because if I get my mind right, I ain't got to go to the Shake Shake. I got my own Shake Shake at home.
I'm sorry.
Go.
I'm still stuck on the chitterlings.
Oh, the chitterlings. Yes, that's. I grew up in Ohio. We were proper.
But you're absolutely.
We didn't say chitlins. We said chitterlings.
All of our sponsors, we're very grateful because we cannot do what it is that we are doing and being able to provide not only a broadcast, not only an in-person event.
Chucky, don't even play like you don't know what the Shake Shake is. Y'all was going to Shake Shake to get them chicken wings.
I'm praying, Pastor Turner, but a quality experience, because that does in fact matter.
It really does. It really does. And so with that, we also want to recognize the African American Family Wellness Advisory Group, as well as the African American Health Coalition, because they are definitely the ones who helped solve this and wanted to make sure we're doing that and getting dollars in the right places so we can make this. Listen, we have been providing you with quality speakers.
There you go.
Listen, and this conference anywhere else that you're getting for free could have easily cost $50,000+ to do it, and we're giving this to you for free because these brothers have been all credentialed, they're licensed, they got life experience, they got businesses and all that, and we never want to negate. See, too often I think we want to say, "Give us the Holy Ghost hookup," or "Give us the hookup," but we giving y'all the hookup, but in the same token, we making sure we pay these people.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We got to change our mindset.
Absolutely. Well, it's really speaking to their value as well, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when we go in and we make the appropriate investments, then it demonstrates honor for their willingness to come in and just to kind of be a part of something that I believe is absolutely monumental and incredible and needed in our community.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. And in that, one of the common themes, and we're going to continue that in here too, and then we're going to introduce our panelists and have them start coming in because, you know, we can chop it up all night. Definitely. We have been talking about the need for Black men. And tonight we're going to just say it this way too, for Black fathers.
Yes.
To have a safe space to say, one, I'm not okay. Two, I don't know how to do this. And three, I need some help. And oftentimes we don't have those spaces where we can be vulnerable. And I love on Tuesday night where we talked about how we need a safe space to create vulnerability.
To find your value.
That's it.
Yeah, that was strong.
That was strong. Very strong. But also on Tuesday night we talked about in order to gain and discover your value through vulnerability, we have to be willing to do the dirty work.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
We'll do the work when it comes to got to speak up, speak out. That's right, John Daniel. Speak up, speak out, and live. That's what I always say. We'll do the dirty work when it comes to athleticism, when it comes to getting our hustle on. A lot of times getting our hustle on by just trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. But when do we take the time and the dirty work to get our mind, our hearts, our spirits right? First for ourselves, secondly for our families, aka our children.
I love it. I love it, man. And that's the key part of tonight. That's why tonight is so important. And so we're going to come right back to tonight. But I think for those of you all that are joining for the first time this week, you got to know what we've been up to all week long, right? So Monday night, we started out with the stigmas. We had an incredible panel that is still on this YouTube channel.
Yes, it is.
So if you didn't catch that, we want to encourage you to go back and catch that and listen to it and share it. And then what happened on Tuesday night, Martin?
Tuesday night, we talked about from yelling to yoga. Listen, we had, you and I were on the mat. Yes, we were on the mat, y'all. And we got three major yogis up here. Black men doing yoga.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It was absolutely phenomenal and incredible. You got to check that out. That's on our YouTube page as well. Last night
we went through and talked about mental health and self-care.
Yes.
It was fantastic. Wow. I mean, the panel from the spectrum of all of the different types of psychotherapists and just what Yolo brought from leading Beam and understanding the important work that they're doing in terms of creating this incubator to fund things in our community. It was next level. Highly encourage you to go back and check out last night's broadcast as well. And then what's happening tomorrow, Martin?
Tomorrow. We are talking about finances, and that's tonight with it. There we go. Finances and business. And we are so glad because we want to bring a better level playing field.
Yes.
So that we who are starting businesses, we got some business owners in here tonight, what it means to be a black man.
That's right.
Starting a business in a white world when loans are not given to us because of the color of our skins. You know, and other different dichotomies that stacked up against us and sort of stacked up for us in that regards as well. And part 2 of tomorrow night is also for system involved men. We want you to let you know, again, your past does not dictate ignite your future.
Absolutely.
So we're excited about that. But let's get to tonight.
Yeah,
let's talk. Bring our brothers on.
Yeah, I'm ready to bring the panel on. We're
Yes,
getting ready to talk about one of my favorite subjects. I've been a daddy for 25 years, and so I'm passionate about this. And we've assembled a panel of some of the greatest fathers that I believe exist in the world today. And the goal tonight is to celebrate fatherhood.
I love it.
It's to highlight it and celebrate fatherhood, specifically the Black father.
That's right.
Even in our community, the Black father gets a bad rap sometimes. And we're trying to shift that stigma. We're trying to change the narrative, and we go shine a light on some incredible Black fathers, and we're going to hear their experiences. And that don't mean that we've always gotten it right.
Right.
But we hear.
Yes.
Come on.
That's right.
You want to bring the panel on, man?
Yeah, you got to come on.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first panelist we're bringing on is the man himself, Dr. Ed Rice. Dr. Ed Rice is a father of one. We're going to invite Dr. Ed to come right on in here. Dr. Ed, greet the folks. Let us know the age of your child, and let's talk about fatherhood.
Yes. Well, hold on. We
got Dr. Ed.
Dr. Ed. He looked like he had some challenges. Are we back?
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Hello, you guys.
All right.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. So, yes, my name is Dr. Ed Rice. I am a father of one 15-year-old, Amaya, and actually she just had a birthday. So again, I will say happy birthday to
happy
Amaya.
Birthday, Amaya.
So, yeah.
I love it. That's good.
Definitely.
Hey, appreciate you being here. Let me bring somebody else on then, right? We also have on the panel, I believe, Jerron Clark. Jerron, you joining us on the panel? Come on, Big Papa. What's up,
What's
man?
up, Jerron?
Yeah, my brothers. What's going on? How you guys doing?
Hey, Jerron, how big is your legacy, man? How many of those children you got?
Man, I have 3 kid geniuses. I have a 14-year-old, my oldest son, and I have 12-year-old boy and girl twins.
All right, my man.
Double trouble,
man, my man.
Yes.
All right. In addition to that, we have the one, the only. I know this guy pretty well. Some people call him my brother. Some people call him my best friend. But the one and only Thomas Ship, TPE Ship. Where you at, man?
Hey, how y'all doing? How's everybody doing?
What's up, brother?
How big is that? How big is that legacy, bro? How big is that legacy?
My legacy is 3. So I have my 2 daughters, Malia and Milani, and then I have my bonus son, which is my inherit, and he love him just the same.
Yeah,
he's 9.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I do want to say before we go somewhere, it's called chitlin, not chitterlings. It's chitlin. That's Mississippi. It's chitlin.
On the bucket it says chitterlings.
All right.
We skip out a couple of words. Like it's pronounced Mississippi.
All right. And did we get Dr. Alfred Elliman on? Did we get Dr. Alfred? We had another panelist, another father.
Yes, sir. We're going to try and get him on here.
We got Dr. Alfred because I'm ready to get the conversation
started.
That's right. Celebrating these Black fathers.
That's right. We're going to try and get it. Let's go ahead and get started.
Well, we're going to bring him back, right? I want to throw the first question out to the panel, and then we go just let it flow and let it roll.
Yes.
And this question that we're leading in is, what does the Black father mean to the world?
My God, that's a good one.
What does the Black father mean to the world?
Dr. Rice, Dr. Ed.
Yes. I mean, that's a very loaded question, but I'm gonna go ahead and handle it for the time being. I think the Black father first and foremost means strength, and it means guidance, and those are things that always come to mind, as far as when we're talking about our children, when we're talking about the communities that we're building, women are always considered the backbone, but the strength that the women need to be the backbone, the strength to hold up the community, to serve as guardians, to serve as leaders, and those type of things, they look to us to do those things, which is why our presence, as you guys were talking about presence earlier, is so pivotal to to the success of our outcomes. And I think one of the conversations I hope that we can define is what that presence looks like, because
so good.
in a lot of the data and the stereotypes that have come up about Black fatherhoods, it's been misleading. And that's
right.
why it's been able to persist as long. And so one of the things that I'm hoping in this conversation that we're able to do is just provide some clarity to our audience and hopefully to society at large, and so that they have a better and a clearer definition of exactly what Black fatherhood is and what Black fathers are supposed to be.
That's so excellent. Good. Excellent. Excellent.
So good.
Yes.
So good.
Jerron, talk to us about that.
The Black father, what it means to the world. I believe that it means, Brother Ed already mentioned strength, but I also think it means leadership, as being, the head of household as God ordained it. So also leaving a legacy for your family, a legacy of faith, a legacy of integrity, and a legacy of empowerment.
That's so good.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Brother Thomas.
I think both of these brothers hit it very good on the head, hit that right on the head. And I would like to add to that by saying the Black father to the world is a role model. Because we know in the 60s, the 70s, the Black father was taken out of the household. That's when the young men took to the streets. They didn't have their role model. It was that mom that did the best that she could. So that Black man being locked away, those kids had no one to look up to, and they kind of made a way for themselves. So it's the role model that is missing, that was missing. So now we're changing that as we grow older now, and changing that mindset that the Black man is the role model for the world, because we just saw that through President Barack Obama, and how he led the country, probably one of the best presidents we've had. So
that's good. That's good. I'm loving that we heard that Black fathers are strength, guidance, leadership, leaving a legacy, and role models.
No, I think it's absolutely incredible. And one of the things that we did, keeping in the spirit of really celebrating, I want to push pause and I want to acknowledge our entire panel right now, for not only being Black fathers, but really being Black fathers who are present, Black fathers who are doing what it is that you all are saying. And what my hope is that there are other Black fathers that are tuning in now, and that you guys will tear these comments up. I mean, drop in jewels, drop in tools and things that you all are doing, because we are all better as a collective.
That's right.
And none of us got this thing fully figured out. But some of us do have it where it's working, but it can always work much better. Dr. Ed was saying something with regards to defining fatherhood and the Black father and what that means. I want to dive right into that conversation right now. So Dr. Ed, won't you just generate that conversation, and then we'll go organically around the panel.
Love it. Go ahead.
Well, I think as some of us know, there are some myths and some stereotypes that have been widespread, in the community about what Black fatherhood. And so one of the things that I was suggesting, that one of the earlier studies that came out in the 60s, I think one of my fellow panelists also mentioned it, talked about the absentee of Black fatherhood. And that was sort of the root cause of the stereotypes and the bad rap that fatherhood got. But the nuance and the context there was that it was a myriad of factors, and a lot of them, as we know now, even led by our own government in some cases, is what really led to it. It wasn't like there was a mad exodus of Black men leaving their homes.
Yes,
Say that.
There
brother.
was a lot of different things that happened, and part of the defining in that is also that again, when you talk about leaving, that doesn't mean we left the kids. In a lot of cases, especially as marriage was redefined and divorce rates went up, a lot of that was conflated with absentee Black father, where what happened was, in many cases, was there was just a separation of a relationship between a mother and a father, but that didn't mean that they left the kids. They may have left the homes, but a lot of men continue to stay in the lives of their children. And so that's one of the myths, and that doesn't always get explained contextually when they're talking about absentee fatherhood, because a lot of the fathers weren't absent. They redefine the relationship with the other parent. And so that was one of the things.
Before you go even there, Dr. Rice, because you dropped some great nuggets in there. Because when we're looking at family, we also have to look at the financial stability of the family. And when you are now forced to take a less than what we would consider minimum wage, and then the ability to sustain employment, when it then rested on the wife, in many cases, they were systematically forced out of the home in order so that their homes might be taken care of in that regard. Here, hold on, I just got a call. Brother Alfred, we got him all set. He's all set now. Let's welcome, and I want to welcome to the stage with us on this panel, none other than Mr. Alfred, Brother Alfred himself.
Hey, how you doing, my brothers? How you feeling today?
Good.
Come on, how you doing? Good evening.
All right. Hello. All right, everybody. Greetings from the state of Maine.
From the state of Maine, my man.
Listen. Since you're here, introduce yourself, the organization you're with, man. And we're so glad that you stayed up on the East Coast time to be with us this evening.
Anytime, brothers. This is not just a local thing for me. This is our national program. My name is Brother Alfred. I am the CEO and the founder for the National Saving Fatherhood Foundation. What we do here is we help fathers that may lost their track or lost the will to be involved in their children's life. It could be for many reasons why that father has left, the picture for the child. But our main goal here is to get that father back on track, whether it's financial, whether it's mental, physical, or if it's an issue. One of our biggest programs that we've been launching across the nation is our national child support payment program. So if a father cannot make his payments, we will come up to at least 100%, maybe could be up to 100% of your child support payment. We will take care of that till you get financially back on your feet.
Excellent. Well, listen, Brother Alfred, welcome to the conversation. So glad that you're here with that. And we're going to go right back to Dr. Ed as he made his first point about the economic.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's so true.
Yes.
One of the things I do, especially in my work, you want to make sure that you have the right data.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because the data often controls the narrative. And so the narrative is going out there, and there's all types of marketing.
Yes.
There's all types of entertainment and media, and that comes from data. But when the data is skewed, or if the data isn't accurately analyzed,
that's right.
Then that's how these narratives that are completely false begin to become truth.
Yes.
Right? Because truth is in the hands of whoever believes it. And so we're not thinking about the systemic restructuring that must take place.
Yes.
And so when you look from an economic standpoint, and then the Black father is now working all night long or working 2 or 3 jobs, and then the relationship breaks down. So then there's a break in the relationship, but the Black father has to continue to work. The reality is that perhaps role. Absolutely, because he's trying to provide. And then not to mention, if we go back to the 60s and the 70s and all of the things that the Black father had to go through in dealing with that pent up frustration and the things that just forced them into some of this, I almost said crooked criminal justice system, but that would be a fair statement. And so then now you just relocate them from their house to your house. And then now you just further perpetuate this narrative that the Black father isn't there. And I think that what we must acknowledge, and here's what I'm learning in my 40s, is that it's not that the Black fathers didn't want to be there.
That's right.
And so I think that sometimes is the message when we hear like, oh, your father ain't here, or even within our community, the deadbeat dad, or you not go be this, or you go be just like your daddy. It's like, yo, there's layers to this thing.
And that's why we're so glad we have organizations such as Brother Alfred has brought with us, the National Saving Our Fathers, because we do need to save our fathers. And now we have people who look like us.
Yeah.
Who understand the plight of our stories.
Absolutely.
And have empathy towards the situation, because they've maybe been in similar situations or had relatives in similar situations. So now we are, for the first time, being heard.
Come on.
And now he's creating a safe space for all of us, brothers, to say, listen, I'm about to do whoop whoop.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, bro, this is how we're gonna do. We're gonna come alongside you and help you, not judge you.
Absolutely.
Help you and help you get on your feet so that you can be the father that you always knew was inside.
So good. Thomas, I want to come to you, man. Dr. Ed said something about just because it was a breakdown in the relationship doesn't mean that I left the children.
Right.
Now, I say this and I boast about you, and maybe I'm biased because you're my brother and my best friend, but you are literally one of the greatest fathers that I know. And that's just hands down. Wow. But if you don't mind, I want you to talk about that. What happens when the relationship doesn't work, but you still kill it as a father?
Wow.
I think the world needs to hear that story, bro.
So with that is consistency, and it's consistency before the divorce. So before the divorce, I was there in the house cooking breakfast, picking the kids up from school, changing diapers.
That's right.
I was there potty training and doing all of that stuff and laying down that foundation. So laying down that foundation, and then I was in the military. And while in the military, I'm deployed. I go to Kuwait 9 months. In those 9 months, thank God for FaceTime. So you FaceTime every day, every other day. So you're making sure that you're consistently there and you set those patterns. And come home, start back potty training, start back doing everything that I was doing prior to leaving. And then Uncle Sam, the military, said I did either a good job or I did a bad job. And I had to go back to Kuwait. So when I go back to Kuwait, it's the same thing. I'm waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to FaceTime my kids before they go to bed, just to tell them good night every day. So it's the consistency that you have. So they know the consistency of me calling, me FaceTiming them. And now they pick up the phone, they call me. We talk pretty much every day. Once I retired from the military, I moved 30 minutes away from them. I moved from everything I know from where I was in the military and moved 30 minutes to where they are now.
When he could have went anywhere in the world.
That's right.
And got a high paying job anywhere in the world. I'm going to make a decision that I need to be near my girls.
Because my relationship with my children does not come under the job doesn't come under that. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying?
No, I get it. It's not more important.
They matter. Stop laughing, Dr. Rice. They matter. But our children do matter.
Yeah.
When I got my divorce, I moved across the street from my son's school. So I said, Jesus, I need you to open up something right over here, because I need him to be able to walk from school to see me every day. Because Thomas, when you're used to seeing your children every day, we as fathers go through a horrible depression because just like they do.
Talk about that. That's good.
I was used to seeing my son every day. I was used to when he got home or when I got home from work, he was there. I was used to saying, good night, son, I love you. I was used to fussing at, get get up, let's go, and then now it's gone. The house comes too quiet. And no one talks about the depression that a father feels when your family is now ripped away from you. And you're left in there with your thought. Go ahead, Thomas. I see you.
One of the things that I'm speaking on what Dr. Ed said. It's the strength. The strength.
Yeah.
And when you're going through your divorce and when it's bad, one of the things that your strength will do is bring out your competitive nature and let you stay somewhere for longer than you need to be because you are being competitive and you feel like you're losing. You feel like you're losing your family, but at the same time, you're winning peace, and that's one thing that you have to realize. Your peace is the peace for the kids at the same time, because when you're going through that turmoil and you're arguing and yelling and stuff like that, the kids are not at peace.
Yeah.
And you have to find that also. So that and the fact that you want to see your kids, you want to be there, but what is the other party allowing you to do at the same time?
We won't even go there.
That's the part that don't get talked about when you're trying to be there for your kids. When you move 30 minutes away and you get sick and can't get a weekend, or you can't switch weekends because you're falling ill. Those are the things that hit you the hardest. That you want to co-parent peacefully, and there's no peaceful resolution from the other party. So
Jerron, I want you to jump in here as a therapist and as a clinician, right? And that brings up a really good point, is that often whenever there is a separation in a relationship, the children are directly, I almost said indirectly, but the children are directly impacted. But while we often discuss that, many times we don't think about the impact, and I never thought about that, the impact that it has on the psyche of the man. Can you speak to that as a therapist?
As a therapist and as a clinician, when there are problems in the family, whether they be husband and wife, married parents with children, or separated parents with children, there's always an impact on the psyche of the kids. They observe everything, they feel everything, they hear everything. So, especially like Brother Ship was talking about, when there are those broken relationships, who knows what, there may be a disgruntled baby mother, who knows what they're telling the kid when they're not in the presence of their father, and who knows where this kid takes this information to. He or she may take it to school. They may express their feelings to a friend because they're afraid or scared to directly talk to their mothers about it, because the mother is 9 times out of 10 or maybe expressing these negative feelings and negative emotions toward the father, even when the father is good. You know what I mean? And Marty, we kind of talked about this last week on the show, that there are a lot of Black fathers who want to see their children, but cannot and are unable to, because systemic things are in the way. Be it the court system, or as Brother John Henry said, the crooked American justice system.
Yes.
So,
Brother Alfred,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Brother Alfred.
We experienced that a lot in our organization with fathers. Now, I mean, right now, I can give you some statistics. Right now, statistically, the southern region of the United States is more affected by fathers being disconnected from their children. Like anywhere past the so-called Dixie line, it's been like that phenomenally, especially during this pandemic era. When fathers are realized, confronted to who they are really married to or they're involved with and who they had that child with, that so-called one heated night is turned into a toxic situation. And because it becomes a toxic situation, case studies has shown, that men think more logically and emotionally. Women think more emotionally than logically. I'm not saying that women don't think in
exactly.
And think with logic. I'm just saying that men predominantly think strategically. That's why we were warriors, and we were good conquerors, and so on and so forth. And because of that mentality, when we are dealing with something like when a child or something that comes from us, a human being, we take it a little bit more harder. And instead of we thinking with just our emotions, we're doing strategic moves to try to make sure that we can either fix it, repair it,
That's good.
or do anything. You got to think, how many fathers do you know that, excuse my language, would say, "I kiss her butt just so I don't break it," or or what was that old 50 saying? It's cheaper to keep her. That old song you say it was cheaper to keep her. And the reason we do that is because we know that that child is a part of us, and we would do anything and everything and within our power, to keep it. Look at
that's say that part right there. I think that needs to be said, is that we know that child is a part of us, and we will do anything. That's the key. Right, because that's a counter narrative to often what it is that we hear.
Right.
Is that I've been a daddy for 25 years. I know I am best at that. It shows up in my work. It shows up in my pastoring. It shows up in my friendships. It shows up in everything. Those daddy characteristics and traits show up in everything. And I know, I don't know too many fathers who's just trash. Meaning that at the core of who they are, they just want to spit out seed and allow that seed to roam the earth without their covering.
That's right. And one last thing I want to say, is that we noticed that I have noticed though, is that we got to be more mindful as we expose, like you were saying earlier about children see everything. So you have everybody's got to understand one thing. When you have a relationship, your children are having a relationship.
That's good.
And if you don't realize that, then what you're doing, like a computer, you are programming them children to make a toxic relationship. And sorry to say this, is part of it is that when it comes out of it, and then we get in that so-called legal trap, which is now which is the national law, what's called the 50-50 law. Even though the sperm comes from the man and is already alive, they say it's a 50-50, but believe it or not, it's actually 70-40 almost. So we've done great studies about this in our organization. Been doing studies on case studies for the past 2 or 3 years, and we've come up with so much information. It's ridiculous. So I just wanted to let you all hear that far, and
Yeah, no, that's good. Doc, go ahead. I was going to go to Dr. Ed.
Go.
No, Dr. Ed, I want to get you in here on this conversation, man, because I want to go to this point of what happens when the father is expected to be a father, but he just don't know how.
That's good.
Ooh, okay, so there's a couple things there. And there was an earlier point that we talked about, that we're talking about, that I do want to kind of circle back to, because one of the things that the conversation that we're having right now is around this whole idea basically of co-parenting and how to better do that. So I'm gonna stick a pin in that, but I'm gonna answer your question. I think one of the things that we need to do better as men is really train up our fathers, right? And put our arms around our fathers, especially when men are young. And what I mean by that is I think back, to my own situation. I remember when my ex-wife at the time, when she got pregnant, her aunts, her sisters, her mothers, like they came
That's
around
good.
her, and
The village.
the village came to her. They were giving her tips, old bottles, everything that she needed. They participate in a shower, and that shower is just about gifts. A lot of that is about training. They play those games, but a lot of those games mirror a lot of things that they're going to do. And as I was looking at that and thinking about it, like there's nothing like that for men, right?
Come on.
The generation we came through, even if you had your father around, like that just wasn't a conversation, right? He might give you nuggets here and there, but there wasn't this intentional, sort of surrounding them in the same way that it is with the mothers. And so that's something that we need to do a better job of, because I'll tell you, one of the ways that I know it and where I started thinking about it was, we were going through some things during our pregnancy. And I know most of you guys might recall, where you go to the doctor and they tell you this information that, they do the blood work and say, there might be a 1% chance that, your child might have a defect or something like that. And not having the context and knowing what that is, you start panicking, right?
Right.
And you realize that's 1%, that's low, that's just something that they have to share with you. I share that to say, a few, months after, I had my daughter, one of my best friends, him and his wife got pregnant, and they went through the same thing, and he's calling me panicking, like, oh my God, they said my baby's gonna be have a birth defect. Right. I'm like, bro, calm down. It's only 1%. They just have to tell you that, but they don't tell us that. And he was like, oh man, thank you. And then, the way that men sort of share information is on a need basis. So we'll call each other, right? You'll call your best friend. I'll call Marty and say, hey, how do you do this? But there's never a time when we come together to exchange that knowledge and information. And we got to get better at that, because there's a wealth of knowledge and information around. So good. We know that there are fathers in our community. There are fathers around. A lot of us have our fathers around us, but we don't necessarily talk about fatherhood. I don't know why we think that it's going to be passed down through osmosis or something, but we're not intentional about those conversations, at least in the same way that the women are. So
that's good. And can I interrupt you real quick and about that? Because you have an organization that you had started through a grant that you had gotten from Pepsi. That was, even though Coke is a much better product, but you got we'll take the money from Pepsi with that. And for the organization you started was called First Fathers. That was around that. Tell because I think this speaks to your heart when you were creating First Fathers, bringing this wealth of knowledge to first-time fathers, especially when most of them did not have father figures in which they could turn to. Why is a first fathers still needed in today's climate that we live in?
Well, I think it's needed even more so, but I would tell you, and thank you for sharing that, Marty. The organization initially, the idea for it came from, I used to work, well, I still am an educator, but I used to work in high school. And at the time that my ex-wife was pregnant with our daughter, one of my students was actually, he got his girlfriend pregnant. And so, here I was, mid-30s, I had a job, I had a career, had two-income household, and I was terrified about being a father, right? I have a job, I'm looking at prices, $7,25, we got cribs, we got all this stuff, I'm looking at insurance and all this stuff. And then this dude is 18, and I'm like, how are you not freaking out? Like how are you, like what are you gonna do? Because I know you ain't got a job. I know you got your mama.
You ain't got a high school diploma. So what you gonna do?
And you gotta feed that child, and that can at that store says $25. So what you about to do? And so and also, like I said, at that point too, we were going to the doctor's appointments together and stuff, and everything was catered to the woman. They weren't even talking to me. So they had all like we went, I'll never forget, we went in our first appointment. She got a basket, a bunch of brochures, just like a whole list of stuff about becoming a mother. And I was like, so I don't get a basket? Like y'all don't have a pamphlet for me?
Yeah.
I was like,
I helped.
Right. I was like, and at that time, we were still married. So I was like, I'm here. Like,
right.
I'm here.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's where that came from. Cause I was like, if I'm feeling like that, I wonder
how many
what
others.
well, not just how many others, but what this 18-year-old, what this 16-year-old dude is going through. Because again, at that time I was working in the high school, so he wasn't uncommon. He just happened to be my student at that particular point. But it wasn't unusual. I mean, it happens, right?
Right.
And I think, and so, you know, and so then tying this to that absentee prospect, right? It became very clear to me as to how a man could leave or be considered absentee. You're 18, you don't have a job, you don't know how you're going to take care of yourself. Now you got to take care of this baby and this girl, and you don't have any idea what that's going to look like. And suddenly 9 months looks like about 9 weeks.
Yeah. Right.
Figure that out. And so I think, and men are providers, like at our core, right? So I think, and a lot of times the way that we think, especially if we don't really know or understand, we think, okay, I need to go out here and hustle and make sure I can get and then I'll come back, right? I'm not going to stay and work. I'm going to go out where I don't have to be tied down, and I don't have to be constrained, and I can do some things to get some money, to get some resources to make this work so I can provide for this kid. I'm not leaving them. It's just like, I'm going to be right back. But in that being right back, sometimes we make choices that keep us away longer than we intend. And I think that's where a lot of that happens. And so initially the thought of the organization was really to sort of bridge that gap. And then one of the things that I was talking about with the older generation, providing a space where where older men can sort of mentor some of these young fathers, and give them advice and help them as they're going through, so that way we can, you know, really impact the first fathers and make them better fathers.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's worth taking to the panel, right? If we go in and say, okay, all the women that say, well, girl, use this kind of bottles, or don't put baby powder down there because it would make them get a rash or stuff, or all these different things. How do we, as fathers that's on the panel, let's throw out to the fathers that's tuning in, that's watching now, what are your top 2 father tips, right? Good. What are those things that we want to pass down to, you know, to the next one? No, that's true. That's practical, simple things, you know. Right. So let's start with TPE up top.
So that's a good.
What's your top 2? Your top 2.
So my top 2, I would say take turns. When we had our first child, and both of them really, you know, I only had so many days off work before I had to go back, and the mother had more days than me. So what we would do is take turns. Anything up until midnight, I took care of it, so she can get some sleep. And then after midnight, she took over, so I can get some sleep and go to work. So that's the first thing, is taking turns. The second thing is, it's basically the same thing. When you get home, when they're there all day, they may need a break. So give them that break when, even though you're just getting home, you try to decompress also. Try to decompress on your way home and don't get no road rage. So when you get home, you can kind of take over daddy duties when you first get home to give mommy a break. So those are my top 2, pretty much. Taking turns at night and getting that sleep, and then when you get back home. So I guess that's one. I guess there's one, huh?
That's just one, 2 times. Next, Jerron. Oh, you got one more, Thomas?
The second one, I guess, I probably train both my kids. So, I would say take the lead on individual project. So find the project that you know that need to be done and take the lead on it.
That's good. That's good, man. Jerron, what you got? What's your top 2, man? We passing around the wealth and the knowledge.
My top 2 father tips. First one, stay present. Stay present.
Hard?
Stay present.
Talk about what that looks like.
Even when it gets hard. Staying present as a father means communicating openly and honestly with the mother of your child. Staying present means doing those daddy duties, uh, even if you have to do it before you go to work, and even when you get home. Staying present is taking the night shift of putting your child to bed when the mother of your child is ready to go to sleep. With me, I put all three of my kids to bed every night when they were smaller, when they were babies. Um, can you guys hear me? Okay.
We hear you. We hear.
Okay. Cool. So yeah. Put your children put your children to bed every night. So the mother can get some sleep, and you'll use that as bonding time. For that time that you were away from work, from the home, at work.
Right. So staying present.
So take that time. Staying present is one. Second, rest. You have to. It's imperative. When mommy and baby rest, you rest too.
That's good.
Do what you can at night to kind of get the house together in the morning before for 4 in the morning before you go to work. But rest. It's imperative.
Love it.
Get as much sleep as possible, so you can stay present and be there for your family and be there for yourself too.
That's good, Jerron. Let's go to Brother Alfred. Brother Alfred, what's your top two?
All right, mine is just real simple. It's number one, be honest with your children. If you're going to be a father, be completely honest. See, you have to remove the fog. I remember as a child myself, my dad would he wouldn't tell me everything I needed to know. So what I would tell everybody, be honest with your child, and just like if they see something, if they see mommy daddy fighting, explain. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till they're 13, 14. Go ahead, write to them and say, explain to them. Just like I explain to my daughter and to my son. I explain that to them all the time. Be honest. All right? And you can't hide stuff from them. Don't try it, because that's going to make destruction, like I said before, that make destructive children relationships in the future. Number two, okay, don't talk baby talk to children. That's been scientifically proven that it's very destructive to children. And you do not do that. And I just thought that was something, someone said to me once, and it was as funny is a retired music studio guy, and he used to be a pimp, but he had all these kids and stuff, and he'd sit there and talk to me and tell me, he said, I don't talk baby talk to my children. I would sit here and I would watch him. He had a little boy named Alex, right? And the little boy, he'll talk to him just like you and I will have a conversation. And that boy got so smart that I saw by the age of 1, he was already handling DJ turntables. And when the CD DJs turned, he was mixing, he was doing computers, he was playing the piano. He's 1 year old. And I'm like, how the heck is he doing this? He said, I don't talk to my children like I talk to them like they want to be spoken to like a normal human being. You speak to them like that. And that's very vital. Those are the most vital things that you need to do, because what's going to happen if you do not, that mentality is just it's going to get warped, twisted around, or it could be misunderstood later on. And
that's good.
So those are my top two.
Good. Appreciate it, brother Alfred. Let's go to you, Dr. Rice. Dr. Rice, your top two.
Okay. I try to do 2, but I actually have 3. So just give me that, please.
That must be your friend. That got to be your friend.
With this bad internet.
No, I actually got three.
Yes,
go ahead. Go ahead. Give it to him.
Okay, so not kind of, but following with what Brother Alfred said, when kids are young, their brains are just like sponges. And take the time to read to your kids.
Read.
That's good. Reading to them.
Read. You know, if you put them to bed during the day, spend that quality time to them. Find a book of some sort and read to them. So that would be the first thing. The other thing that I would say, because a lot of our men are, we are in co-parenting situations, and we want to be good fathers, and a lot of times that can be difficult. Pick one thing that you can do and that you can do consistently.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
One of my panelists, I can't think of the brother's name here, but he was saying he put his child to bed every night. That's important. There you go. They're going to remember that. One of the things that I've done is I've taken my daughter to the first day of school since kindergarten. She's in the 9th grade now. And, I've had to rearrange work. I've had to let them know months in advance, like come September, or August 23rd or whatever, I'm going to be late because I'm taking her to school. So whatever it is, pick one thing and do that. And then the last thing, we talk about resources, and this one was important, so I wanted to add it, and it kind of builds into tomorrow night. Invest. Get a life insurance.
That's good. That's good.
Get something that can grow. Because even if you have a little to contribute, if you start early, you don't have to contribute a whole lot. But over time, that can become a considerable amount, a nice nest egg for your kids, whether they're going to college, whether they're starting out in the world. And,
right.
Go into debt, and we can teach them, good habits that they can have, resources and things of that nature. So,
yes, sir.
Pick something that you can do and remain consistent in that. It doesn't have to be a lot of things. Pick one thing that you can always do and invest.
That's so good. The scripture says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
That's right.
So I think that's great. Ty, we're getting ready to come to your question in just a moment, Marty, but we on this panel with fathers. Okay. So I'm interested in your top two.
My top two is kind of inconsistency with what the panel is definitely, but being present.
Yes.
Being present is always, and I define present, even, a lot of times we as fathers want to be able to fix some things, or if we don't have a ball to throw with them or something. Sometimes being present just means sitting there and watching them play a video game, sitting there and say, I don't know how to play this, show me. It's just being in the same space, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. So you have that connection. So being present, and I say finding something that you have in common that you can do.
That's good.
And me and my son would go to all the Marvel comics whenever they came out within that first week together. He went by himself when he was 21. I got mad.
Yeah.
Like, what do you?
Because that's what we do.
This is what we do. I was mad for a week, and I'm like, you broke our tradition. This is what we do. So being present and finding something that you can do that's building a bond with the two of you on a tradition. What about yourself?
I like it. My first and primary one is keep your word. It's keep your word.
Wow.
If you say it, you better follow through. And there's some times when I say stuff and I put my word out there and I no longer feel like it, but I come through, and then my kids are coming like, Daddy, it's okay if you're tired, if you undo this, and I'll tell them, but I gave you my word.
Wow.
And Daddy's going to keep his word. I probably don't want to do it. I probably don't feel like it now, but I said it and I'm going to do it. And that goes a long way. So the number one thing that I would offer for consideration is keep your word. And then the second thing that I would offer for consideration is you define them and don't allow the culture to do that.
That's right.
So I speak into my kids. I tell them you're beautiful. I tell them you're smart. I tell them you can do it. I tell them who they are. And I drill that into their head so that when culture or society tells them something else, it's easier for them to reject it because their daddy has already defined them.
Yes.
So that's what I do.
I love that. Let's go to the question. Ty, what's up, man? I knew who you were. So you know that. This is my boy Ty. He's got a wonderful question. I think that this question speaks to so many fathers. And if I could just kind of already pick on one of our panelists, Brother Thomas, to really come and address this particular question, because I think so many of us feel that way. Says, what advice would you give a stepfather who is taking care of another man's child and don't get the acknowledgments from their spouse or in-laws? That's when you get, as Thomas, I believe you said, you get a bonus child. And I love even how Portia says that I got the privilege of having a bonus son.
Yeah.
So Thomas, talk to us about that, because blended families can be very difficult to bring together and getting those dynamics. Thomas, talk to us, please. Okay, you were muted for a minute.
You're muted, Thomas.
You're muted somehow. Testing 1 2 1 2. No, Thomas, I don't know. No,
you're still muted.
Can't hear you. We're gonna get your sound right.
Do we have any other blended families on the panel?
Go ahead.
Oh, Brother Alfred.
Brother Alfred, and we're gonna come right back to you, Thomas.
Come back to Tom so you get your sound. Brother Alfred.
All right. As I don't know, a lot of your brothers might know about the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. I was in the nation for 22 years, and that there's an Islamic law that says that if you are marrying a woman that has children, then you automatically take on those children as your own. And I came into my first wife where she already had 5 children. So I took on that role seriously as they were my own. I didn't get the acknowledgement from her family, not really. It got to the point that me and the character Al Bundy were twins. Okay,
right.
Okay, what he said about his mother-in-law, I understood completely clearly without distress.
Right.
But what I tell people is this one thing, and the funny thing about it is that I picked this lesson up from the strangest place you never guess. That's the show The Nanny. Now, the character Fran Fine,
right,
had was questioned when her in-laws, that she married, said, you don't even remember your mother anymore. And what they did is the character broke it down and says, you know what? We remember our mother. We teach them, we talk about the mother. I'm not here to replace your mother. Oh, no. So those are the kind of things you got to remember. Listen, not every father is equipped to know how to be a father. So therefore, you have to understand, you got to give some compassion to the biological father. And for you to get accountability as a stepfather, you have to respect the father, the biological, because what I'm saying, the respect you want, you have to earn that. It takes time. Be patient, and you will develop a rapport with the family. The other family might have a better rapport with the biological because maybe that's how they feel about them. They had a good rapport there. But you got to build your own rapport, and you treat that child as your own. But at the same time, respect the biological line. Don't take it away and say, I'm taking over. My family line is now dominant and you're recessive. That's not how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to give a balance where there was no balance. Okay? And do not let the mother make the biological seem like it's a toxic situation either. Because you got to remember this is what happens when you're a stepfather. She'll dog him out. What do you think she would do to you?
Well, okay, that's good. That's true. That's true. Okay, so Thomas, are you back? Listen, he going hard, but we're gonna knock this out the park. Thomas, you back with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you. Welcome back, sir.
Okay, yeah, I had a couple of technical difficulties over here. So my advice is to continue to be there for the child. Yes. Being a bonus dad.
I love that.
And like I said earlier, that I talk to my kids probably every day, every other day at the most. So what I don't see is my bonus son talking to his dad.
Wow.
So it's like it'll be 2 months that go by, and I'll be like, have he talked to his dad? And she be like, he haven't talked to him. We'll call him or whatever. But what I do is we have the little basketball game upstairs. He playing his video games. I go in and play video games with him, like you said, just being in that space with him. We have the basketball game on the back of the door where me, him, his mom, and the girls, we sit there and take turns playing that. And I try to be there for him when he's doing his homework and everything like that, because at the end of the day, when Ryan gets older, when he's in high school, when he's in college, who is he gonna remember being there for him in those early years when he in his early development? So don't get me wrong, his dad is still his king. He still loves his dad.
Yes.
And I take nothing from him and nothing from that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna always support him with that. But I know what I know and I know what I see. And I see myself calling and talking to my kids every day. And I don't know. It hurts me because I don't know when was the last time he talked to his dad.
Wow. Yeah.
So I just try to be there as much as I can for. I'm sorry. I just try to be there as much as I can for him. And my wife loves me, and she loves what I do for him, and her family loves what I do for him also. So I just do what I do, being me. So just keep being you, Ty. Just keep doing what you're doing for the child, and the child will know who love him. He know where children know how they feel and how you make them feel.
Come on.
Right.
So just keep making that child feel love.
We know that, but don't you love the common bond that both of them, brother Alfred and brother Thomas, was saying that we being and I hate the word step in that, because you're not half of anything. You know, and I love what you say, you're a bonus father. Like, you know, you get a bonus child. That means a bonus is above and beyond what is expected. See, now we got to change the stinking thinking of that. Come on, Marty, you're talking now. You're talking. I know I'm talking. I know I'm right. I'm on the right street. But when you become a bonus father, that extra, that means, listen, I don't necessarily need acknowledgement from anyone else, because I am planting seeds of hope in this bonus child that I received, and they already are going through enough psychological. Thomas, I love what you said. You know, you went in, not that you're trying to replace your son's, your bonus son's father. You're just saying, listen,
I'm your daddy too.
Yes,
that's the key.
And see you.
That's I'm your father as well. And what I think is so honorable in hearing from Alfred and from Thomas is that there's a degree of respect that's given to the biological father, irregardless of what, irregardless of how you feel about him, right? There's a degree.
Listen, Tam is coming in and say, "That's my husband."
There's a degree of honor and deference, because guess what? You don't know what the future holds.
Come on.
And you do not want to be in a position where you trash the biological.
Yes.
And you are now trying to push him aside. All you got to do, it's ain't even about him.
Yes.
I am here to love you. And I really learned this because we're in a situation where I blended families, right? But I brought the bonus son into my wife. Like, hello, we're a pair. You get us as one, you know. But this takes me right back to something that Dr. Ed Rice was talking about, that I want to, with the minutes that we have left, is I want to talk about co-parenting. Right? Co-parenting in two angles. Co-parenting in a traditional sense, like my wife and I are married, and we still have 2 children in the house with us right now.
Right.
And we've got a co-parent.
Right.
That's just the reality, you know.
Yes,
but then co-parenting where you're not under the same roof,
right.
and situations has changed. I like to have a conversation about that. And so, Dr. Rice, won't you come back to that point and take the pen out that you put in on co-parenting?
Yes, sir.
Gladly. So you know, and it's funny because it's a moment, right? Because when we talk about co-parenting, you think about the news earlier this week, and our brother Kanye West having, you know, he learned it the hard way about the co-parenting. But I think one of the things that we were talking about, and Brother Ship was saying earlier, was talking about the competition. And I think a lot of times we come at it as competition. I think we have to we have to rethink that, right? We have to revise that, right? Our exes, the women that we were with, they are not competitive. We are not competitive with them, right? We should be conspiring with them to raise these kids. We should be working together and figuring it out. And I think the more that we are willing to go into a partnership with them to work towards raising our kids, the easier for a lot of us it will be. You know, as we listen, you know, I gotta say, I thank God for my ex-mother. I don't call my ex, that's somebody's mother. And the relationship that we have, and I can't say we're always easy, but we've gotten to a point where we have co-parenting down.
That's good. That's good.
We definitely work together. You know, I'm flexible with her, she's flexible with me for like up and dropping off, and even some of the stickier stuff, right, with the child support and everything, stuff like that. One of the things that we agreed early on was that we didn't want to go through the courts, and when we that was one of the things that he told us. If you two can figure it out, he was like, we don't have to get involved. And one of the best advice I ever got is that if you get the courts out of your relationship, keep them out. Because once they're in for life. And so we work really hard to do that. And, you know, it's been a blessing. But I got to say, man, it takes mastering your ego. Because
that's so good.
There are going to be times when, you know, your ego is going to want to tell you to fight with her or that you're right and you need to push for this point. And, you know, there are some times where you just going to have to take a back seat. And, you know, and that co-parenting ain't always going to be 50-50. Sometimes it's going to be 60-40. Sometimes it's going to be 70-30. Sometimes in your favor. But, you know, she's a custodial parent. But I will say that she's fair with me, right? We don't even
right.
We don't even have, you know, a regular, you know, visitings for a situation where it's, you know, I got to come over this week or that week. Like, that's my daughter, and she made that clear that when I want to see her, I can see her.
Good.
So, you know, I'll call and say, you know, I'm coming over to see her. I'm like, all right, you know, it's not a problem. You know, there have been times where she's like, I'm leaving, you know, Amaya's there, you know, or whatever, you know, or I'll drop her off on the way over. So I think, you know, I know a lot of times with these relationships, exes get a bad rap, but I think what we really have to start doing and teaching our young men is if the relationship falls apart, really figure out how to work with that woman and become a partner with her and raising your kid. And I promise you, your life will be just so much easier going forward. Your child will appreciate it. Her mom will appreciate it, and it'll just make things 100% easier for you.
Yeah, our children are better in that regard, right? Our children are better. And that's the cool thing within the role, within the role of a father, because the role of a father is different than the role of a husband.
Oh, that's good.
The role of the father is different than the role of a partner.
Yes.
And so within the role of the father, the primary objective is the child.
Yes.
That's the key. And so if it's rational, as Dr. Ed, you're in a wonderful situation where you're dealing with someone that's rational, you know.
That's always the case. But,
you know, because some of them, it ain't rational. But that's the reason why I said we must remember that in the role of the father, the child is the primary objective. That's the key.
Right.
And I had to learn that, right? After going through a divorce in my first marriage. And I had to tell my child that just because we didn't work out, daddy didn't leave you.
Right.
So daddy's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that you are there. And guess what? I take that exact same mindset, and I'm very happily married. You know, we thriving over here, 17 years, knocking on 17 years, thriving. But then who I am to my wife is not who I am to my children.
That's right.
My children don't need me to be mommy's husband. My children need me to be their daddy.
Yes.
And so that's why as a father, we understand that as a role of a father, that the primary objective is the child within that role.
Yes. I gotta say this too. Fatherhood is not one of the most difficult things I've done in my life.
Yeah.
But by the same token, it's also the most one of the most rewarding things that I've done in our lives too. And what we have to do as fathers in showing up, in being consistent, I heard all those things, in reading, all that is just, even when we don't feel like it, because we have to get past our feelings.
Yeah.
We have to get past our emotions. See, I'm trying to get the therapist not to kick in with that. You know, we got a few more seconds before we got to take off.
Can I say something real quick?
Please.
I need to take a drink. Dr. Ed, y'all got something magical over there, cause what I got over here ain't that. Shameless plug. I ain't got that. So I feel cookies. So shameless plug. So I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
Maybe you need to give her some maybe you need to bake her some cookies and tell her to go away. Or
she gonna throw them. Listen, let me tell you a story. So
tell us a story.
I was FaceTiming my kids one day. If they don't go to school, I get a phone call to tell them the kids not in school. They miss Monday, then they miss Tuesday. So I'm talking to them on the phone Tuesday night, like, you didn't go to school again, baby? You sick? What's going on? I talked to them like, before, you still not feeling good? Daddy finna make you some chicken noodle soup. Daddy gonna make us some soup? Daddy gonna make us some soup? Yes. Daddy moved up here so I can co-parent. So I live 30 minutes away. Daddy go to Kroger. Daddy buy a whole chicken, cut it up. Potato, some noodles, some carrots,
you making it from scratch?
Celery. I cut all of it up. I take it to the house. I leave it on the doorstep. I get back in my car and I drive away. I don't ring the doorbell. I don't knock on the door.
Oh Lord.
2 days later, police came to my house, told me I got a stay away order. I had to go to court for taking my kids some chicken noodle soup. She got the Ring doorbell and everything. The judge looked at the video and said, "What is that?" She said, "He brought some food for the kids." She said, "What is it? Tell me what it is." She said, "Some soup and crackers." So what was wrong? Was one of the kids sick? She was like, "Yes, one of my babies was sick." I was like, "Yes, ma'am. My daughter was sick. She missed 2 days of school." The judge looked at the video and dismissed the case immediately. She said, "I'm dismissing this without prejudice. Thomas, don't go to the house no more, though." And it's like, I moved up here to co-parent. So you in a special place, Ed. You're in a special place, brother. I'm over here like this right here. Everything. I can't do nothing.
Brother Alfred, go ahead, Brother Alfred.
I'm hearing this story so much now. It's like the same exact thing. And you know, I'm gonna say this. I don't support our brother when he said that, but Brother Kevin Samuels. But we are seeing so much of this same language coming out, where our fathers are just doing the typical fatherhood thing,
or trying to be the best father they can be.
Yeah, and the mothers are just like, I mean, seriously, you know, I gotta say, it's toxic. It's bad. Yeah. And the thing is, and I don't know if you all heard, it was in the news in Texas. I had a potential client, and I was going to talk to him. It was supposed to set up for 3 weeks. I just heard the message about 2 weeks ago. found out it was the same guy who got shot, was trying to go see his son, and the guy shot him. The stepfather shot him dead, and they covered it up in Texas.
Wow.
And all he was trying to do was spend time with his son and do his thing. And because the mother was involved, you know, we got to stop thinking a little bit more. I'm gonna say this: every father needs to learn how to play chess. I'm gonna put it out there.
Okay.
Every father needs to learn how to play chess. If you don't know how to play chess and you just playing checkers, guess what? You're gonna get caught up in something. I'm sorry, because you got to think 6 moves ahead. If you're in that situation where the mother's not allowing you to see things, or she might be vulgar, or she might be vengeful, or whatever, or she might be trying to get a check out of you, and you feel like that, then you know what? You need to learn how to play chess. Sit your butt down, get the little horsey pieces, get the pawn pieces, and sit down and play it. Because that's what you're going to need to do, because you need to start thinking here. And yes, you have your heart, because them children is your first priority, just like you all said before.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that we are facing on a constant basis is that we are not thinking ahead on how this person that we either broke their heart, or they broke ours, or they felt some kind of way, or you know, how they're going to respond. You got to.
But Brother Alfred, can I challenge you? I totally hear what you're saying. I really do. But for most of us, because I went to the courts and never laid a hand on my ex-wife, none of that. Say I was already a therapist. I was already approved to be a foster. I could take care of the county's kids, but the judge did not rule in favor for 50-50 custody of me. I had no record, no nothing, and I still had every other weekend. How can I, who have, and here's the thing is, most of us feel because we are good fathers and we don't expect that type of behavior to be reciprocated. So it's almost like it is a total blow that catches us off guard. And so how do we recover from that? And that's why we have to have these safe spaces so that we can have other fathers, so that we don't feel alone. I felt alone. I felt hurt. I was depressed. And these are the things that we have to give and remind ourselves, so that we are now not stopped and discouraged, because we have this fight, freeze, or flight mentality. So that the easiest thing to protect our emotions, and then if we get into our feelings and ego, is that, you know what, you handle them, not because we don't want to be there, but because we feel that is our only option, so that we won't go to jail or anything like that. So that's why we have to have these programs that comes alongside us to support Black fatherhood, to say, brother, I got your back. Let's walk through this together, so you are not going to go to jail because you've acted irrationally, because you were pressed and pushed against the wall.
Yes. You know, one of the things that I would say, in the absence of abuse and danger, in the absence of where you may have a father abusing a child, or a father putting a child in danger, in the absence of that, please don't call the police on nobody and put this black man in the firing line of a system that is
not in favor of them.
That's just a word of wisdom. And so when I hear Brother Alfred talking about that,
it goes in the psyche. I have several Black fathers who sit on my couch. I know Jerron will tell you the same thing, because they called the police on them. Now, we already have a systemic, when there's a police car behind us, we're thinking, okay, are my tags right? Do I have my driver's license? Okay, turn the music down. Don't look at the phone. 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. We already think that. Now, when we get arrested, or the police, it sends us into PTSD tremendously. So now I'm not at my best, because now I got to deal with the trauma of that. So I cannot show up 100% for my children, because now I got to wade through all the crap that I've just dealt with, that's now triggered me and put me in post-traumatic stress. And then yet we then looked at you crazy. No, I'm not. I just want to be a dad.
Yeah, yeah. And then it can also potentially impact. It can also potentially impact them economically as well, right?
Oh, it definitely
because then now you got arrested or you got this record, and it can impact your employment and things like that. So in the absence of abuse or putting your child in danger, I just encourage, partners and spouses not to do that, to do that. We're looking at our time, and I want to do something because I want to make sure that we can highlight the fact that there are brilliant Black fathers out there. And so we've got this panel here, and I'm going to ask the panel to speak to Black fathers. I want you to take a moment and I want you to just encourage them, because here's the reality is I'm a pastor and I pastor a lot of them, and I've been in ministry for a long time. You all as therapists and us, we just got boys, and we know everybody's situation ain't like this.
That's right.
And Black fathers need to be encouraged. I believe that one of the most under encouraged sects of our society is the Black father. And so we've got an incredible opportunity right now as we get ready to wrap up tonight's show, is to really encourage Black fathers. And so from father to father, this is how we want to do it. We're going to go to the panel. We're going to start with you, Jerron, and just encourage Black fathers, man. Encourage Black fathers, brother.
Take it off the mute. That's right.
There we go. All right, Black fathers, and I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna be quick because my phone is at 19%. Black fathers, you are the leaders of your households. You are the protectors of your children and your families. Stay intentional, stay present, know that God is with you. Keep the faith, communicate openly and honestly, and continue to demonstrate the emotional intelligence necessary to care for yourself so that you are able to care for your family.
Love that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Brother Alfred, talk to us in some words of encouragement for our fathers.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Here we go. All right. To all my fathers out there, young, old, new, about to be new, the greatest thing you can do for yourself is, believe it or not, talk to somebody.
Yes.
Build yourself a support group, a support center, a nucleus. Make sure you have tools to do so. That's why when we have a fatherhood support group for you, young father support, mentor program, there is a program. There's a new thing that that's going around that everybody's talking about I tell all you fathers to do is to check us out. Go to fatherhood.gov. There is resources there. We're on there. My organization's in there. There's some more resources there. You can also contact us, and we're here for you.
Yes.
The National Saving Fatherhood Foundation. We have support groups set up for you. So we also have a 24-hour hotline.
Thank you.
Which is all you do is you dial 1-800-903-2096 extension 0 for the Fatherhood Hotline. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week, 360 days a year. Whenever you feel like you're going to go beyond the border, you can't handle the fatherhood issue.
That's good.
You contact us. Somebody will pick up. Leave a message. And we will send somebody there that's a caseworker or somebody represents you, and we will be there to help you, walk you through the steps you need to do. Okay? Remember, you are not alone.
Strong.
You're not alone. You're not alone. And listen, you're part of an exclusive club, and I call it the Fatherhood Club.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Let's go to Dr. Ed Rice. Encourage the fathers, sir.
Yes, sir.
My brothers, fellow fathers, you matter. You are needed, regardless of what you may hear, regardless of what you may believe. You are important, and you are a great father and integral person in your child's life. Continue to love your children. Continue to provide an opportunity to be loved by your children, and continue to be present in their lives. They need you. The community needs you. The collective needs you. And so be the best father that you can be. And if you need resources, again, as my brother Alfred just mentioned, there are a number of resources out there. Utilize them, reach out, and be the best man that you possibly can be.
Love that. Thank you, Dr. Ed. Brother Thomas.
Hey, fathers. What I would tell you to do is don't use Marty's acronym PTSD. Use my acronym for PTSD, and that is peace, therapy, serenity, and discovery. Peace, pure energy allows for calm embrace. That's the acronym. Therapy, traveling, healing, experiencing rejuvenating adventures purposely designed for you. Serenity, silent emotions, releasing everyday's negativity, internally targeting your deepest fears. And discovery, decoding internal struggles causes overwhelming victory, internally reconstructing yourself. So that's my acronym that I use for PTSD. I came up with it probably about 2 or 3 years ago because I did suffer from PTSD in the military. But just living in peace, living my therapy. And like I said, my therapy is my traveling. My therapy is my photography. My therapy is my cooking. So you find what it is that you have for your therapy, and you use that. If it's talking to somebody, or if it's sitting on the couch watching TV, you find your spot where you need to calm down and just release and get rid of that anger that you have. If you're angry, your serenity is just find your serene place and to just discover a new you, discover something that you like, discover something that you love, discover your kids, discover the things that they like, discover, just get out the house and just discover something new about yourself and your family to become a better father. So that's how I use PTSD. That's the acronym.
I'm about to steal that. I'm about to steal that in my sessions now. Don't worry about it. Now, Thomas, I'm gonna redo it. now you've been talking about these cookies, and has anyone on this panel? Now I've tasted the cookies because I had to go all the way to fly to ATL to taste some of Thomas's cookies, brother. And how do we? Because since you done bragged about them, get some of them cookies? Do we find you on the internet, man? How do we get these cookies?
Marty, you should have sent them to the panel. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just saying. Blame John Henry because he was the one talking about that's my best friend, but he ain't offered nobody no cookies. We maybe needed a cookie to de-stress.
Why is this happening?
I'll be in Atlanta at the end of June. So I'm gonna need the info.
Yes, sir. That's the problem.
So I live in Murfreesboro. So I have my website. It's called my website is called Cookies and Ship. All one word, cookiesandship.com. I rotate my flavors out every month.
And cookies and ship.
Cookies and ship.
1 P or 2 P's?
2 P's.
Right.
Okay.
Ship with 2 P's.
Yes.
Do you ship your cookies?
Say again.
Do you ship your cookies?
He does.
Yes, I do. So once I get off here, I got like 5 orders I have to complete once I get out the phone. So I'll be in the kitchen baking.
Right.
I got finished last night around 2. Got up to go to work at 4. And right. I came back home to make some more cookies. So
cookies turned about cookies. With that cookies
hijack because daddies need some cookies.
I got y'all.
Wonderful. This is wonderful.
I bet. Hey, have any of y'all ever had a sweet potato cookie before? I got it corn.
I
got a sweet potato cookie.
It's next level. Let me tell you.
Why you trying to hurt us?
Listen, right before summer.
Let me get some cookies. Listen, I want the sweet potatoes. I want the sweet potato cookies.
Hey, brother Alfred, you won't eat another cookie.
Listen, okay,
Man, that sounds good.
we got to quit talking about cookies. Y'all listen, it's about supporting each other, supporting black business as well. We want to support you, Brother Thomas. So cookies and ship with 2 P's on the ship.
Correct.
Please check it out. We want to make sure that we are supporting black businesses, especially since we talk black fathers who have a black business.
Let's
go.
Get
some of these black cookies, not burnt cookies, but black cookies. We want to make sure we get them. Listen, we want to thank you guys so much. This has been amazing. The amount of wisdom that was dropped here. We're going to be continuing this dialogue with that. And Brother Alfred, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to give you a call next week because I want to bring some of your programs to Marcel Consulting to help black fathers and help not just black fathers, but all fathers, because we got to have a safe space. And I know Brother Jerron is already one of your representatives out here. You know that you have a space right here that we can definitely do that here in with Marcel, because we can't just talk the talk, but we have to walk it as well. And we want to make sure we're walking the walk to help fathers everywhere and save our fathers. So right before we go, we don't want you to leave without any proper resources that we might have to have. So some of the definitely resources we want to share with you. Listen, if you are looking for a therapist, you can go to Psychology Today and you can scroll through and find a therapist that looks like you. You can go to Good Therapy. Again, scroll and find a therapist that looks like you, that's going to meet your needs. Therapy for Black Men, an amazing resource. And Therapy for Black Men is offering free therapy sessions, and they will pay for them because they have this amazing grant to support black men who cannot financially pay for a therapist, or your insurance won't cover it. They will find you a black therapist to help you with your black needs. And as always, MarcelConsulting.com. We are here to provide therapy for fathers and men everywhere. And then we want to also give a shout out and support also Beam Community. Beam is an amazing organization in Los Angeles County that is so powerful that they're doing amazing work when it comes to fatherhood. They already have fatherhood programs and wellness programs to help support black fathers in LA County, and we would not want to leave them out. So there's some amazing resources there as well. Mm-hmm. Again, thank you all for joining us for this wonderful program tonight. John Henry, we have been I'm on a spiritual high of all the stuff that we've been doing.
It's just incredible. It's just incredible. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. But I just want to say this, even to the fathers on the panel, man, I'm proud of y'all.
That's right.
I'm proud of y'all.
Proud of fathers.
I'm not sure how often we are applauded by one another. From a father to a father. Man, I see you.
Yes.
And I'm proud of you all.
Yes, yes. So can you all do us a favor? Give a shout out to these black fathers everywhere. We saw Marilyn Daniel salute her husband, talk about Orlando Daniel is a wonderful father. Tam, we thank you for blowing the trumpet for your cookie making daddy there, who husband. And he's gonna rub it in our face and just eat one. But listen, join us tomorrow night. This is gonna be an in-person live event at Eastvale Bible Church in Norco. We want to thank Pastor JT for giving us a facility there. Again, we're going to be talking about finances and business.
Next level.
It's so much next level, as well as system involved men. We're going to be talking about those too, because there's a difference. Hear me when I say that. There's a difference between child support and family law. You might be behind on your child support payments. That doesn't mean you get an excuse or buy for it, but it does not negate that you still have a right to see your children, and you cannot be used against you, that you can't see your children because you are behind on your child support. So please help us tonight. All applaud the fathers everywhere, because they are doing a wonderful job considering this climate when black suicide in men is on the increase. Why? Because we don't have safe spaces where we can be vulnerable.
Come on.
I say this all the time. We don't want you to continue to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we want you to speak up, speak out, and live. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace to you. God bless.